Alright guys, I'm gonna be doing something. This is probably something that happens with everybody, you know, except for all the people who get a lot of new stuff all the time. I'm gonna be stealing parts off of a quad, stealing parts off another one, replacing parts on that one, just to make it all work. First thing I got to do with this one, this is a kind of a donor quad anymore. I'm gonna take the run cam off of it so I can use that in my new build. So I try to put them back together, even though they're missing parts, just so that they look fairly decent on the wall. If anyone doesn't recognize this frame, it's a Flight Test 210, an FT210. Oh man, it's an incredible beginner frame. We've smashed the living daylights out of a couple of these, and they just keep on ticking. I haven't broken an arm or anything like that. You can see some stress cracks in this top plate. It's been that way on both of them, but they've held together. Really good beginner build. Tons of space inside. They are heavy, and you can see the arms are really wide, but man, these things can take a beating. So the camera is right here. You can see this one's not even hooked up because I pulled it out for something else. Looks like we're gonna have to dig inside. Do a little trimming, so I'm gonna stop here for a second, get out some different tools, and we'll go from there. Okay, got some different tools. Trim off this zip tie as best I can without cutting any wires. Bonded up the tip of these cutters. Okay. So we're gonna need to disconnect here, and I think I'm just gonna do the easy way, since there's plenty of wire there. I do need to get inside so I can get this wire. This is the wire that provides voltage to the little onboard OSD that the Runcam Swift 2 has. So we'll tear this open real quick. Got O-rings on there. If anyone recognizes this board, it's an ancient board almost. It's a good board, but compared to what we've got out now, it's ancient technology. It's a NAS 32. Still flies on this one. It was the first board I had. There's my other O-ring, and right down and here's where I'm gonna get that blue wire, and I think I'm just gonna cheat this one too and just trim it off. Alright, I'm gonna put the lid back on this. Actually, before I do that, I'll do that off camera. I'm gonna take this and the wiring harness, and I'm just gonna plug it in so that I have it together. And then for this, I'm flying the wider field of view lenses. I get these off of eBay. They're the Victoza. I think they're 170 degree lens. I love them. You can see so much, especially out of the Swift 2. good size GoPro lens. That's if you don't buy the expensive ones. Just twist out this little mount. Toss that away. We'll pull this lens out. Don't forget to take your lock ring. You'll want that. And do your very, very best. Do not touch that side of the lens. The front's going to get bunged up. I mean, that's a given. But the back, you don't want fingerprints on that. So we'll screw that on there. It's not going to be in focus. We'll focus that after we get the quad built and all that fun stuff. So put that to the side. Let's button this back up and I'll be back with the next quad we're going to start tearing apart. Alright, so here's the next quad I'm going to tear up. This has the Lumineer 2350 kV motors on it. I'm going to take those off and put them on my new quad, as well as the ESCs. These are TBS bulletproof ESCs, so I'm going to take those off. I'm going to replace them with cheap ass motors. And these are from Quadbox. If you haven't heard of them, they designed these motors to be really inexpensive. Supposedly they're really good. They're 2205, 2300 kVs. Hopefully they're a really good bash around motor. One of these motors is less than 10 bucks, so it'd be pretty nice. I'm also going to replace the ESCs with Emax 30 amp ESCs. So we'll start tearing into this and we'll go from there. Alrighty, this motor here needs to be changed out, so I'm going to do that really quick off camera. Alright, so while I was changing that motor out, I went ahead and disconnected these couple wires, the signal and ground, and we're going to pull the board off and work on the rest. Okay, signal wires are off. Gonna pull the board out of the way here. Don't want to mess with it too much. We're gonna pull off these power wires. Alright, all the wires are removed. I'm just going to undo the motors. I'm gonna mark them so I can just keep them in the same order that they were in. It'll be much easier for when I put them on the next frame. Alright, the motors are on. These are the cheap ass motors, 2205, 2300 kV. I'm going to be using the Emax 30 amp ESCs. I've had one of these burn up on a previous build, and so I just stripped them off. I'm going to have to get creative to flash them because obviously this is a KISS flight control. I'm going to leave that on there, even though I've got another one I could use. I'm going to leave that one on there. I've got an old Lux V2, has a bad signal on it, so it doesn't work, but the others work. So I'm going to wire the ESCs up to this PDB, then I'm going to hook the signal up to this board, and then work through that to flash on BL Heli and make sure everything works. I know it sounds crazy, but that's how I'm going to make it work out. Alright, motors are on, ESCs are on and wired to the power distribution board. Motors are wired to the ESCs. I'm going to go through and hook these up individually one at a time to this other board and get the ESCs flashed to all the same firmware. make sure they're going the right direction, and then I'll wire them up to the KISS and we should be good. Okay, I got everything back together. ESC's flashed all the same. Wasn't able to test them out yet. Gotta connect this bugger to Betaflight, which I have it flashed to. Alright, so I got motors set up the right way. I had to move some wires because obviously I couldn't go into BL Heli through the KISS to reverse the ESCs. Just gonna button it up, wrap up the ESCs, put the lid back on, and remount the antennas. We should be good to fly. I'll show you a picture of what it looks like when we're done. Alrighty, she's all fixed back up, ready to fly. So hopefully she does well with these motors. I've heard good things about them, so we'll have to see. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. We'll move on to the next build here shortly for what I stripped the parts off of this one for. And again, thanks for watching.